Hello and welcome. Pastor Peter here. Once again, I welcome you to our devotion. My reading today. Today I'm doing part 4 of my sharing. And I've been sharing from the book written by Bill Hybels, The Courage That the Leadership Requires. And today I want to do part 4 of that book. And the key word that I picked from this book is the word courage. And the first thing I said about why leadership require courage. Number one, I said as a leader, you need the courage to pursue the vision. You need to be courageous enough to pursue the vision that God has given to you. Why? Because great visions die in the hearts of fearful men. So be courageous enough to pursue the vision that God has given to you. Number two, I said as a leader, you need the courage to initiate and lead the people through change. Change is never easy. To lead the people through change, you need to be courageous enough. And today, number three, what I picked from this book is that leadership requires the courage to define current realities. As a leader, you need to be courageous enough to define current realities. It is the leader's job to define a reality. And I'll explain that. All leaders are leading in a situation where things are either going down or things have stagnated, or you are leading in a place where things are going up. I'll repeat that. All leaders are leading in a situation where things are going down, either the arrow is going down and that is a decline, or you are leading in a situation where things have stagnated. We call that the status quo. Or you are leading in a situation where things are going upwards. The arrow that faces upwards. You know, when you are defining your current reality, there are three things that define our current reality. The arrow that is facing down, either things in the organization or things in the church are going downwards. There is a decline that is coming in, or things have stagnated or plateaued, or either number three, the things in the organization are going upwards. So all leaders are leading in a situation where things are either going down, things have stagnated, or things are going downwards. And that calls for courage for a leader to define his current reality. And remember, at each of the three levels that I've mentioned, downward trend, plateau area or stagnation, and then upward turn. Each level requires a different leadership style altogether. When the organization is on a decline, it requires a different style of leadership. When things are stagnated in the organization or in the church, it requires a different style of leadership altogether. If things are going up, the organization or the church is on the upward move, it requires also a different style of leadership. For example, if there is a decline that has come in, a leader has to declare an emergency. In a situation where a decline is coming in, the arrow is going downwards, a leader must be courageous enough to declare an emergency. Seasoned leaders who have come up with some ways of signaling to everyone in the organization. Let me repeat that. Seasoned leaders have to come up with some way of signaling to everyone in the organization that they are in a red zone. A leader must send that signal to the organization that for sure the organization or the church is on a red zone. And it takes courage to do that. Remember, as a leader, there is no way you can close your eyes to realities. And the truth is, the organization, the church you are leading, either it is on the downward trend, declining, coming, or everything has stagnated, the status quo, or there is the rising up. That demands that as a leader, you define those current realities. And that will help you as a leader to take the necessary actions. For example, if everything is declining, this will call upon the leader to take necessary measures to make sure that the downward trend or decline is stopped and things are worked out so that you don't descend any further. It demands courage. Very, very important. In a place where everything has stagnated, I call it the status quo. In a situation where you are leading an organization where everything has stagnated, the leader has to bring in fire. The leader has to set a fire. Status quo is not acceptable, and it is extremely dangerous for an organization. When things in the church or an organization come to a standstill, when the organization is maintaining the status quo, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. It is dangerous for an organization to come to that level. Status quo is a precursor that something is not right. So, leader, you must be courageous enough to define your current reality. Where everything has stagnated, status quo has set in, the leader has to set a fire. The leader has to bring in momentum. The leader has to bring in new strength. Status quo is not acceptable, as I have said. It is extremely dangerous. And no leader should settle for that. It's dangerous for the church. It's dangerous for the organization. And the status quo is a precursor that something is not right. Now, if you are in an organization where things are going up, the arrow is pointing upwards. Yes, there is a rising, there's going up. The leader needs to pour more cars to increase the fire. Where things are going up, the leader should increase the fire. You should add gas on fire. For one leader, you have to add fire. For one leader, it took him 3 days to actually admit your church is on a downward trend and it is losing the steam. Many people will struggle to come to that reality, to accept that indeed the church or the organization I'm leading is on a downward trend. You have to be courageous enough as a leader to accept that reality. Very, very important. Where things are on upward trend, you have to add more fire and make sure that you keep going up and not coming down. And remember, as a leader, the team that is leading together with you, they know the reality in the organization. It's not a secret. Those people around you, they know the reality of what is happening in the organization. They already know. They are only waiting for you to develop the courage to admit it to yourself. It's not a secret. So, dear leader, 3 things are very important. As a leader, you need to be courageous enough to define the current reality of where you are. Either you are on a decline, or you have plateaued, or you are going up. Those are the three trends that describe our current reality. We are either going down, we have stagnated, or we are moving upwards. And that demands the courage to define that current reality. Many people, you ask them, how is your organization doing? How is the church doing? Many people will tell you, great. Things are doing well. Of course, we are men of faith, and we are always confessing positive. But as a leader, it comes a time and a moment that as a leader, you define your current reality. Where am I? Where do we stand as a church? Where do we stand as an organization? Are we on a decline? Have we stagnated? Are we maintaining the status quo? Or are we going upwards? How many leaders are courageous enough to give the real picture of their lives, to give the real picture of their current realities? How many pastors are courageous enough to give the exact picture of the churches that they are leading? Leadership requires the courage to define your current realities. By defining your current reality, that will help you to take the necessary measures or action to arrest the situation at hand. Failure to define your current reality, it gets a leader blinded. When you don't define your current reality, you are a leader who is blinded. And if you are not careful, you will find yourself on a downward trend. You go all the way to hit the surface. But if you could have realized early enough to know the current reality of the church and the organization, you could have taken necessary measures to save the organization and to save the church. Therefore, leader, be courageous enough to define your current reality, the current reality of your leadership, the current reality of the church or the organization you are leading. Are you on a decline? Have you stagnated? Or are you on an upward trend? Define your current reality, and that calls for courage. The Lord bless you. I'll see you in part 5 of my sharing.